Good morning.
Good morning. It's May 18th, 2025. And our topic today, our talk is goodness as sacred currency. The
Goodness is sacred
idea
currency.
is that every good act you do is a form of currency that usually comes back to you in usually different ways, but sometimes it can be 50 years later. But the goodness that you do is like money, it's like currency. It comes back to you.
I would amend that and say that I think if you drop a stone in the lake, you may not see the ripples, but there's always ripples.
Yes,
It always
yes,
comes back to you. The way it comes back to you may be so transmuted that you don't see it or feel it or notice it.
exactly. And the
Right.
same thing happens with violence or bad behavior. There's the old story that when a husband's boss criticizes him, he comes home and uh, criticizes his wife, and the wife swats the kid. The kid goes out and pulls the cat's tail. That rolls downhill too.
Yeah.
Actions of
Yeah.
anger or violence roll down too. But goodness and good acts also roll downhill and continue to do good. So I know that many of you know this. I know you all know it, and you all practice it. But I have some interesting stories to share with you today that I think are heartwarming. And those fires that happen in California, in Southern California in January. One of the people who lost everything was a former Olympic swimmer, and he lost all 14 of his medals. As a matter of fact, the only thing he got out was he grabbed his insulin and his dog. His dog Puddles, and got out. That's all he had time for. That's Gary Hall Jr. And, so he lost everything. And he certainly didn't expect that a competitor, his biggest competitor in swimming, was an Australian. Let's see, let's name him. Um, I can't find it right now.
Just read the story.
But yes, I'll just read you the story. Um, In a remarkable gesture of solidarity, Hall's medals were remade and bestowed to him again at the International Olympic Committee's headquarters in Switzerland. Yet what truly stood out was who helped make that happen. Among those who rallied to support him was his longtime rival in the pool, Australian champion Ian Thorpe. Quote, that's what the Olympic family is all about. Rivals who are also friends, Hall reflected. I'm just so grateful. Their kindness turned uh, a personal loss into a profound reminder of what unites us. In a world that often highlights competition, this was a beautiful reminder that the Olympic spirit runs deeper than medals. It lives in the hearts of those who lift each other up even after the race is over. So,
So yeah, I think let's spend a minute with that because I think it's so important for us to realize those ripples of good continue to, in fact, will create a wake that can even push us at times when we're stuck.
yeah.
We do something good and then it comes back to us. I just recently or yesterday I posted a compilation of artwork, and the compilation is I work with really very distressed people who are having, in some cases, psychotic episodes in the mental health center where I work. And I sit with them and we color pictures or we draw and color pictures. And you could say that that's it, and it's done when it's done. I cut them out and then put them on the wall in a three-dimensional fashion, and they come in and they tell me, "Wow, that's something I did." But the thing that I hadn't thought about was clients coming to the center for the very first time, really, really scared, and often, like I said, having just lots of symptoms of psychosis that they can't manage. They will tell me, "You know what it's like to look at that wall and to see artwork? It makes me feel safe. It makes me
Mm.
feel cared about. It makes me feel like maybe this is going to be an okay place." And so then, there's that piece of it. So took several of the pieces that the clients made a collage of it, and I posted it on Facebook just to show people what people can do no matter what their condition is. This morning when I got up, I had 86 responses.
Oh, I'm not surprised. It was so
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. But the thing that's really impressive is that which patient knows how many people, 86 people, are saying, thank you for making the effort to create. And so these are people that don't even know that they're being appreciated. The ripples will often go out and affect other people. And of those 86 people that responded to the picture, what happened for them that made their life better? What happened for them that made them feel more hopeful? And so it's really, really important to think that everything that we do is an interaction with the universe, not just an interaction with us. And that interaction with the universe is transformative. Imagine, which is what we know about prayer, that every time everyone together prays, something happens, and we often will say, crime went down 5% on the day of the prayer. Well, the people that were busy being criminals didn't know why they took a break, but they did. Something happened that even though they weren't aware of the current that was now in the universe, it affected them and it changed how they related to the world around them.
Right. And I'm sure you have many examples too that have happened with you because we have many prayer practitioners who pray for people.
Absolutely. So,
Sometimes you don't hear the results for a long time, but it's circulating, it's circulating goodness. And that does come back to us.
so notice that your voice is heard and that your voice makes a difference and that every action you take makes a difference. You make a difference. And the hardest part of living often is thinking the crazy thought that we don't make a difference, that we're not heard, that we're not valuable, that we're not a contribution. And when those feelings arise in us, they also have ripples, but they neutralize the opportunity we have to make a difference in a more positive way. It's and I know you've heard it 1,000 times, the old Native American story where the grandfather says to the grandson, we all have two wolves in us, and the one wolf is a vicious carnivore that'll destroy just about anything and has to be number one. And the other wolf is a benevolent, caring, loving, protective wolf. And the grandson says, which one am I? And the grandfather says, whichever one you feed. So whatever you're feeding is feeding the universe. Whatever you're feeding is affecting the universe. That's really, really important.
Yeah, so those little random acts of kindness they not only make you feel good, they make others feel good. Pope Francis said, it's wonderful to feel good. It's a wonderful thing to feel happy. He says, but it's even more wonderful to make someone else happy. And I think that's true. I think that's true.
We notice that at Christmas time, for me, the joy of Christmas isn't what I get. It's watching somebody unwrap something that I chose for them.
Mhm.
It's watching their happiness and the expression on their face when they receive something that they didn't know they were going to receive. And it's especially true when you've got kids and the kids unwrap something that they've been wanting and you watch them and the excitement that they can't contain. That's such a joyous thing. And then you get something and of course it's nice and you appreciate it. But actually, when I look at my response to the gifts I've received versus the response to the gifts that I've given, the greater joy is in the giving than in the receiving. That doesn't mean you can't send me stuff if you want to. I'll give you a list later.
And sometimes we have I don't know what to call it, but a program that we do, and we ask people to do random acts
Oh
of
yeah, yeah.
kindness, and where others are not expecting it,
Unexpected.
and it's always so much fun to
Yeah.
find out the things that people do, just little things that really sometimes it used to be when we had coins in turnpikes and whatnot that you might pay for the person behind you. Now you can't do that because it's all done by sticker. But it can tickle you just to think, oh, I wonder what their reaction was when they come through and find out that their ticket has already been paid.
You know, just exactly the opposite, but I'm going to share it. Two people come up to the drive-through window of a McDonald's or Burger King or one of those places, and the person behind the second car is frustrated and impatient, and she keeps blowing the horn like, why is this taking so long? Why can't you get through the line? Why don't you hurry up? And so the woman who is being having the horn blown at said to the person, the cashier, she's telling me to pick up her order and my order at the same time, and she's going to pay for it. So they gave her both orders and she drove out. The woman was blowing her horn, came up to get, oh, that other person got your order for you. There are ripples.
It ripples both ways.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
really. So, you can pay it forward, or I guess you can pay it backward. You can charge it backward.
I have another heartwarming story.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let's get away from that one.
it's, do you know who the country of Bhutan is? It's known as they have the happiest people on earth,
Oh, I've heard of
and
it,
it's
yeah.
it's up in the Himalayas and in Southeast Asia, I think, and or Asia. At any rate, there was a woman named Linda. Um, from Nashville. She was a writer in Nashville, and she decided to travel to the Kingdom of Bhutan, a South Asian, yes, country tucked in the Himalayas. She almost immediately realized that she never wanted to leave. The air was crisp and clear, and Bhutan is the only carbon negative country in the world. She shared her surroundings with ancient Buddhist temples, and the people she met were unbelievably kind. When she twisted her ankle on a hike, a stranger went out of his way to help her back to her hotel. So, drawn by something deeper than scenery, Linda kept returning to Bhutan, and 3 years after the first trip, she moved to that special place and found work as an English teacher. She struck up a friendship and eventually a romance with an art teacher named Nam Gai. One day he asked her if she remembered the man who helped her when she was injured. She was stunned to learn it had been him. It was fate, she said, or maybe synchronicity, or grace wearing hiking boots. We were married sometime later. So Linda and Namai finding each other wasn't a coincidence. It was synchronicity, wearing hiking boots and speaking Dongha, I think it is. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness comes within it the seed of a beautiful unfolding destiny.
Yeah.
So I love that story as well. That the person who helped her when she sprained her ankle ends up being the person she marries.
It's interesting too, because one person is a victim of a situation, a circumstance,
Upset.
and the other person is the helper.
Yeah.
And when they meet later and join together to
Uh-uh.
be, they join in a different kind of, so different a
Jen,
relationship that
Jay,
she doesn't even recognize that this is the person who
Jen.
helped. And I think very often when we help each other, our relationship with the thing that we're doing may appear to take precedent over the good that is contained within that. You've shared with me several times how being stuck on the expressway in the middle of the night when without gas, and somebody pulls over with an old beat up pickup truck, and a bunch of people jump out of the truck, and these are people of color, which means there's all kinds of, who are these people? Should I be worried? Because that's what happens to us with our conditioning. And they are the only people that stopped, and they are the ones who anonymously helped and saved the day and possibly saved you from an accident. And
That's
so
right.
all of them changed the course of your life and possibly even contributed to the point where you had a life that you might not have had otherwise.
Right.
And they were all, quote, anonymous. But
That's
also
right.
in this factory of consciousness that we live in, the next time, 10 years later, you see a truck filled with people who are not anywhere near like you are, you may smile instead of frown. You may smile and say, ah, yes, another truck of people who care.
Right. Well, and also, given what we're saying, that goodness rolls on and is your currency, that is perhaps my reward for the good that I've done
Yeah.
for other people. So it's just nice to expect it. Unexpected kindness.
Mhm.
It's nice to expect it. And I urge you to, because I know each one of you does a lot of good for a lot because it's our human nature,
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
but especially as we become spiritually minded. I know for me, it encouraged my um, what do we call it? Just benef beneficence, my just my desire to be nice and helpful to others.
If when you were done here today, you have a chance, and Brian, I'm thinking of you in particular today, you have a chance to go to YouTube and type in "What have you done lately to make yourself proud?" And the woman who wrote and sings the song, it is such a powerful piece of work. And what have you done today to make yourself proud?
Right. Yeah.
And you can just type in "proud" also. I think it may even show up with that. And so what I would ask you is to not just think about what you've done for other people, but what have you done today for you that makes you feel proud of you? What extra thing have you done today that has helped you feel better about yourself? And if you're at the end of the list of people that you care about, then you need to move yourself up to the front of the list, because the ability that you have to care about you is contagious, and the effect of it is contagious. We see in the airplane little things that they hand out as you're getting ready to take off, and then they say, be careful that if we lose air and the little oxygen thing drops down, put it on your face before you save the person next to you.
Right.
And the reason for that is because if you go unconscious, you can't save anybody. What are you doing in consciousness to save you that will help you save other people? And take a breath of life from that experience that you're having and take it in fully. And it empowers you to save the life of another, whether it's a conscious idea or whether it's something more subtle than that.
So I wanted to share a quote by a book that our founder, Ernest Holmes, read. It was Cosmic Consciousness. The author was Richard Buck. And this quote says, "The universe is a living presence. All people are immortal." Immortal, that's important to remember. All people are immortal. "The cosmic order is such that all things work together for the good of each and all. The foundation principle of the world, or all of the worlds, is what we call love. And the happiness of each and all is in the long run absolutely certain." And that's so nice to remember when our loved ones make their transition, cross over to the other side, whatever you want to call it. It really is a graduation. And we feel it as a loss because that person is no longer with us. But I had another friend of 50 years make her transition 2 nights ago, and all I can feel for her is great joy because I know she's free now.
She graduated with honors.
She graduated with honors, and she was suffering with a disease in the end. And so it's nice to know that goodness keeps rolling back to you, and now she's free and happy and delighted, actually. I know that because I know that's what we all feel eventually when we make that transition. So just keep doing
Yeah.
good things.
I want to recap some of this so that you can kind of take it home. Ask yourself today, what have I,
Speak a little louder.
yeah, ask yourself today, what have I done to make myself feel proud? What have I done that makes me feel I have value? What have I done that's making a difference? And I know that everything I do makes a difference. So allow me to notice that, pay more attention to that. And so it's so, so important, the idea that everything we do creates ripples, ripples of positive or ripples of negative. And you know what? The ripples of the negative are not a bad thing either. That when you're frustrated and angry and you send out those ripples, someone else's kindness can step in. The opportunity for them to show kindness steps in, and the opportunity for you to change is now possible. And so no matter what's going on with you, no matter how frustrated or irritated or upset you may be, allow yourself to know that it all is still a contribution to the universe, even if it doesn't appear to be so right now. And then change your mind change how you want to do things so that you have an opportunity to be in that flow with more joy. And so,
And speaking of contributions,
ah,
we want to invite you now
what a nice
to
transition.
looking at this
Yeah, and
area.
we every time we receive a check from someone that is a part of our membership, I'm just always so pleased and, oh wow, that's so and so. And it really makes a difference. It's really helping us to maintain this ministry, particularly now with things getting more expensive. And I know it's more expensive for you, and that means that you're given, from my point of view, is even more important because uh, for you to reach in and to your pocket and share with us at a time when your needs may also be more expensive means a great deal to us as well.
So for those newcomers who don't know how
Uh,
to make an offering,
this is not a PBS commercial.
you go to our website, which is CSL, Center for Spiritual Living, palmbeaches.org. And when you go there, you will see this button at the top, ways to donate. So that will show you how you can donate. And we like to say this affirmation because we're affirming that this is true for us. So let's say it together. My investment today is made with the full realization that God is the source of my supply and returns it to me enriched and multiplied. And what we mean by that is regardless of where is the source of our money, it all comes from God.
Yeah.
And it is in your law of attraction. So let me end that
Yeah.
screen.
Okay.
And now
And recording.